Hello, and welcome back to The Art Director's Debrief, the space where we explore the architecture of story. Today, we stand witness to a profound internal revolution. If our last analysis focused on a dramatic confrontation between two opposing forces, this debrief will focus on the quiet yet earth-shattering aftermath within the mind of our heroine, Elizabeth Bennet. The chapters we will unpack today, 36 through 43, are about the deconstruction of a worldview. They explore one of the most difficult human processes, confronting the possibility that our most deeply held beliefs, our most righteous judgments, might be fundamentally wrong. This process is initiated by a single object, a letter, which acts as a narrative bomb, shattering the foundations of Elizabeth's prejudice. But the true rebuilding of her perception happens not through words alone, but through an immersive artistic experience, her unexpected visit to Pemberley. We will analyze how Jane Austen uses Darcy's letter as a tool for revealing truth, and then uses his home, Pemberley, as the ultimate visual evidence to support that truth. This is a journey from textual revelation to environmental discovery, a process that forces Elizabeth to become the art critic of her own flawed portrait of Mr. Darcy. Let us begin with the letter. Handed to Elizabeth in a state of mutual agitation, this document is far more than an apology or an explanation. It is a meticulously constructed legal and emotional defense. Darcy, for the first time, sets aside his pride to present his own narrative, armed not with charm, but with facts. The letter tackles Elizabeth's two main accusations. First, his interference in Jane's affair with Bingley. His defense here is logical, if class-conscious. He admits his role, justifying it by stating he believed Jane's affections were not serious, and that her family's lack of propriety made the match undesirable. From his aristocratic viewpoint, he was not acting out of malice, but out of a misguided sense of duty to protect his friend. For Elizabeth, this part is painful, but on some level, understandable within the harsh realities of their society. But it is the second part of the letter that truly disseminates her certainty, the exposé of Mr. Wickham's true character. Darcy lays out a detailed history, not of a wronged victim, but of a manipulative, deceitful opportunist. He recounts Wickham's profligacy, his rejection of the clerical living, his demand for money, and the most shocking revelation of all, his attempt to seduce and elope with Darcy's own 15-year-old sister, Georgiana, for her fortune. Elizabeth's reaction to this is a masterclass in psychological realism. Her first instinct is denial. She does not want to believe it. It contradicts everything she has so confidently asserted. But Darcy's narrative is not built on vague sentiment. It is built on verifiable facts and names, such as Colonel Fitzwilliam as a witness. As she rereads the letter again and again, the pieces begin to fall into place. Wickham's own inconsistencies, his careful avoidance of Darcy at the Netterfield ball, his immediate pursuit of the newly rich Miss King, all of these previously minor details now click into place, forming a new, horrifying picture. The shame she feels is immense, not just for being wrong, but for being so willfully blind. She realizes her prejudice has been a weapon, and she has aimed it at the wrong man. The letter has planted the seeds of doubt. The visit to Pemberley is what makes them bloom. Elizabeth only agrees to visit the estate under the assumption that its master is away. This visit, therefore, begins not as a social call, but as a private architectural tour, allowing her to assess the man through his environment. From an art director's perspective, Pemberley is the ultimate portrait of Darcy's soul. It is a direct and powerful contrast to Rosings Park. Rosings was a monument to Lady Catherine's pride, grand, ostentatious, and oppressively formal. It was a house designed to display power. Pemberley, on the other hand, is a testament to taste, elegance, and a deep respect for nature. Austen describes it as a large, handsome stone building standing well on rising ground, but without any artificial appearance. It is in harmony with its landscape. The stream that runs through its park is not forced into a formal canal, but is allowed to flow naturally, its banks neither formal nor falsely adorned. This is a profound metaphor. The estate reflects a man of substance, not just of status. It speaks of a character that is well-ordered and not unnaturally stiff or arrogant. It has a natural beauty. As Elizabeth walks through the grounds and the house, she is not just seeing a collection of beautiful objects. She is seeing the evidence of a well-governed, tasteful, and unpretentious mind. The man who owns this house cannot possibly be the monster Wickham described. The environment itself becomes a powerful character witness in Darcy's defense. If Pemberley is the physical evidence, the testimony of the housekeeper, Mrs. Reynolds, is the emotional confirmation. She is a neutral, credible source who has known Darcy since he was 4 years old. Her affection for him is genuine and unprompted. She speaks not of his pride, but of his kindness as a master, his generosity, and her deep love for his sister. She describes him as the best landlord and the best master, and says she has never had a cross word from him in her life. For Elizabeth, hearing this glowing account is another staggering blow to her prejudice. This is the humanizing evidence that fills in the details of the new portrait she is reluctantly painting. This is the Darcy that exists beyond the ballroom, the man known and loved by those who depend on him. And then the master himself appears. The chance encounter with Darcy at Pemberley is the ultimate test. But the man she meets is not the man she rejected. This new Darcy is not proud or aloof. He is courteous, gentle, and almost shy. His eagerness to please, his politeness towards her aunt and uncle, people of a lower social standing, and his affectionate introduction of his sister Georgiana all serve as real-world behavioral evidence that corroborates the story of the letter and the atmosphere of Pemberley. He is actively performing the role of the man Mrs. Reynolds described. The cold marble statue has been replaced by a warm, living, breathing man, full of complex and, to her, very appealing qualities. Just as Elizabeth's world has been turned completely upside down, just as she is beginning to feel something more than gratitude towards this new Darcy, reality intrudes in the most brutal way possible. The letters from Jane, carrying the devastating news of Lydia's elopement with the very man Elizabeth now knows to be a villain, a gambler, and a seducer, are a catastrophic interruption. This news serves two dramatic purposes. First, it forces Elizabeth back into the shame of her family's inferiority and lack of decorum at the exact moment she was beginning to see a future beyond it. It confirms all of Darcy's original insulting objections to her family. Second, it gives a terrible new weight to Darcy's revelations about Wickham. The story is no longer a historical account of a past misdeed. It is an active, present-day crisis that threatens to ruin her entire family. The story ends on a note of profound crisis. Elizabeth's internal revolution, her journey of deconstructing her prejudice, is now overshadowed by an external disaster. The question is no longer just what she thinks of Darcy, but how will this changed, more humble Elizabeth navigate this family catastrophe? And more importantly, how will the new Darcy, a man of such high principles, react to a crisis that confirms all his worst fears about her connections? The foundation for the novel's final act has been laid. Thank you for joining me in the archive. What did you find more powerful, Darcy's letter or the testimony of Pemberley itself? Let me know in the comments. And as always, a like and subscribe is deeply appreciated.